What's up, guys? This is Daniel with Midnight Movie Trash, and I'm here with...
Damien Leone, writer-director of Terrifier and Terrifier 2.
Let me ask you, how are you enjoying Big Tex?
Love it here, man. This is the second time I've been here. Having a blast, dude. I love it out here.
Awesome. Let me ask you, what got you into directing?
If you want to go all the way back, my mother named me after The Omen. So I was born into horror movies, watching them since I'm a little kid. Then when I was around 7, 8 years old, I discovered this VHS tape called Screen Greats, and that was about special makeup effects artist Tom Savini, and it showcased all of his work and his films, and that's the first time I realized what a makeup artist did and that somebody actually created the monsters. And I was already creative growing up. I would make my own little comic books and things. And then I decided that's the path I wanted to explore. So, and then, when I was a little older, I actually started experimenting. I bought my first starter makeup kit when I was around 12, making up my friends, putting cuts on them, freaking out their parents, and then we started making little home movies, just packed with gore, just excuses to put blood all over my friends. And that's when I really fell in love with filmmaking. I've been on that road ever since.
That's awesome. And getting to Terrifier, how did you come up with that concept of Art the Clown?
So I made him a long time ago, 2005. He was just basically a supporting character in my first, what I call, or I tried to make my first official sort of professional short film. And it was going to be sort of my showcase as what I could do as a filmmaker and a makeup effects artist. So I wanted to pack it out with a lot of prosthetics and creatures and cool characters. And I always wanted to take a stab at a killer clown. I thought I could do something fresh with it. So it just started with this idea of a creepy, silent clown sort of harassing and terrorizing this woman who was all alone in the middle of the night on originally it was supposed to be a city bus, but we had to sort of turn it into a subway waiting room. So it started there. I said that's a good way to kick off this short film. And then once I started designing him, I wanted him to be as far away from Tim Curry's Pennywise as possible, because Pennywise is still the king of killer clowns, and if I was going to play around in that sandbox, he couldn't be colorful, he couldn't be wisecracking with the jokes. I didn't want to give him a big wig with a red nose, so that's why he's sort of very basic and just black and white. And then when I was sculpting his prosthetic, I wanted him to look a little inhuman, so I decided to give him sort of those classic devil or witch-like features with pointed nose, pointed chin, and a little bit of a zombie with the sort of cheekbones and the gaunt features. So, and then that was it. He was in it for like 3 minutes, just the beginning, but everybody I'd show that short film to, they would rave about him, and they would say, what is the deal with that character? You need to keep creating more things. And then I kept doing it and fell in love with the character.
Awesome. Let me ask you, when you were writing the films, was it hard to write for Art, being that he's non-vocal?
No, it's the easiest character that I write. It's very organic. I mean, all the humor, the sadistic things he does, it really just sort of writes itself. I mean, that's one of the reasons of it too that I chose not to give him dialogue, because it would just be a lot easier. That one less thing I'd have to focus on. But I also always found the silent killers to be creepier. There's something where they will not speak. There's something that just cuts off the communication, that makes them a little more animalistic, which is just a lot creepier. You feel like you can't reason, you can't reach them when they don't speak. So I wanted to go in that direction. And he sort of just turned into a silent Freddy Krueger, just with his personality that bleeds through. But so it was like that last sort of variation of the killer that we didn't quite have, I felt.
Awesome. And let me ask you, the success of Terrifier 2 in the theaters, did you ever imagine it would reach what it did?
I mean, like I said, once I made the second short film with Art, I really felt like this character had something special. So I was always he was like that North Star that I just kept chasing. I knew at some point, if I got him in front of enough people, he had some sort of mass appeal. Now, that being said, I never even dreamed Part 2 would go into the movie theaters, because the first one didn't. Part 2 was still very sort of obscure, even though it had this wonderful fan base, but it was still obscure. It was 2 hours and 18 minutes long. It was unrated, just all these things, all these red flags of something that's like, well, this would never be in the movie theaters. So when it did, thanks to Cineverse, the distributor, they were the ones who really pushed it and believed that it could have a shot in the theaters. And to their credit, they put it in. So, once it happened, I was not shocked that some people, it was a little too much for some people. Like when those reports came out, I mean, I would tell my cast and crew we were shooting, I'm like, some people are going to walk out like during this scene. I'm like, this is going to be a lot if anybody gets to see this movie. So, and that was exciting. That was an exciting week when it came out. And, reports came out that people were throwing up and vomiting, and those were real. I mean, that people thought that was a marketing ploy on our end, but those were legitimate reports. So, bit of a badge of honor.
Yeah, I remember seeing one where this girlfriend's with her boyfriend, and he's sitting outside of the theater, almost in the fetal position.
Yeah.
And he was so traumatized by it, and I was like. Yeah, I'm looking at him like I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
I mean, and that's publicity you can't buy.
Yes. Let me ask you one final question. Where can they find you on social media?
I'm primarily on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, just under Damien_Leone. We have Facebook pages, Terrifier 2 official, all kinds of stuff like that. But primarily, for me, I'm primarily on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is Daniel with Midnight Movie Trash. See ya.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much.